Welcome back to this installment of The Voices in Cloth. I'm John Cole Morgan, and I'm joined by one of my best friends, my local quilter, my Saturday girl who works in my shop, Gillian Aird. My darling, welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
She's all nervous now. She won't be like this in a little
I
while.
know.
She's all friendly in a little while. Just got to get her giggling. Gillian, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you, when you came to the UK, how you started quilting, and just break the ice.
Okay, so I came to the UK it's 12 years ago, actually this week, beginning of May, to join the rest of my sisters and their families in the UK. So I'm in Leighton Buzzard. I came from south of Joburg in Alberton, and I have been sewing since I was a little girl. And one of my sisters actually took up quilting, and it kind of like spread through the family. So we are now all avid quilters.
I was going to say, just like an infection, because literally everybody in the family quilts now, including your niece.
Yes.
So you've got 3 generations of quilters in your family, your mom, you, and then obviously Liesl as well, your niece.
Yes, we do.
So that is wonderful. So when did you actually start quilting properly?
It would have been, we started a beginner's quilt course the January before COVID hit. We did, I think, maybe 3 or 4 classes. COVID hit, everything came to a standstill, and from there on out, we are self-taught.
With the odd class from yours truly.
Oh yes, of course. We pick up tricks and techniques all over the show.
And just a little stash as you go along the way.
Yeah, just a little stash, yeah, from all over the show.
It was very funny because I had a sale in my shop last week, and someone on this call turned and says, I've got it all. And she does.
If it's not new, I think I have it.
And even if it is new, you've got it then as well.
Yes, very shortly.
What is your favorite part about quilting?
The favorite part is, and it's most probably a little cliche, is you take big pieces of fabric, you cut them into little small pieces, stick them all back together, and you get something amazing. It doesn't have to be like the pattern. And actually, I don't think, very rarely do I actually make stuff exactly like the pattern. I will change either the colors, I will change, yeah, that's probably that. I may change a focal point where it would be a background color. I will make it a focal point. Generally, it has to have a Gillian twist.
Now, you see, in our group, we normally call it that you're doing an Anne, because our lovely friend Anne.
My second name is Anne. So it's a Gillian.
What is your worst part about quilting?
Unpicking stuff because I didn't read the pattern properly.
I think everybody can relate to that.
Exactly.
What has been your best project?
Most probably, I would think the best one was just after my dad passed. I had fabric that was intended for a quilt for him, and I cut the pieces out. We went on a retreat. I think it was the first one of the longer retreats we ever had, and I just sewed. I didn't care that the points didn't match. I didn't care whether the seams joined exactly where they were to make it was like a diamond pattern. So it didn't matter. It was just a project to pour most probably my sadness into, and just to most probably soothe my heart, I think.
Where is that quilt now?
It's on the back of the sofa downstairs.
And do you use it?
I do. I use it. The cats use it. When we're all here in winter and it's cold, then we can sit. think the sofa will take about 4 bodies next to each other. And this quilt must be, this is that quilt that was one of the largest ones that you ever quilted. So I think it must be about, how big's your long arm?
120 inches, 140 inches,
So what's that? 4.5 meters.
about 4 meters.
So it's 4 meters long by about 2.5 meters wide. So we can all sit under there, and it's the best thing ever.
What's been your worst project?
The Jubilee quilt.
I'm sorry, I'm giggling behind my hand now because I have made many collaborative quilts in my day, and every single time I make a collaborative quilt, I say, that is the last collaborative quilt I'm ever doing. And for the it wasn't the Duke of Edinburgh quilt. It was the
Duke of Edinburgh
was the
quilt.
Duke of Edinburgh quilt. So when the Duke of Edinburgh passed away, we created this quilt. There were 99 blocks in the quilt. So there were 11 rows of 9. And we did it as a foundation paper piecing block so that each block ended being 6 inches. Now, if anybody's ever done a collaborative quilt, it doesn't matter whether it's FPP, it doesn't matter if it's EPP, it doesn't matter if it's normally pieced. Everybody's 6 inches means something very different, and don't make boy jokes there. So might have to cut that bit out. But it was that quilt literally had about 15 different measurements along the width and the length. And that was the hardest quilt I have ever quilted as well. I think that was
Where
really
is it?
in my sewing room.
Oh.
Would you like it?
Hey?
Would you like it?
No. No,
So
that
Gillian,
was hard work.
tell everybody why it was the worst project for you.
So I think doing my squares was maybe not so bad. I was new to FPP. They were teeny tiny little blocks, and
They were 6 inches. They weren't teeny tiny toony.
That the whole block was 6 inches. But
Fair
if I
enough.
remember correctly,
I'll give you
mine
that. I'll give you that.
Mine was like a checkerboard, and you had little blocks in each little 2-inch square. Yeah,
100%. I'll give you that one.
Yeah. And then, so doing those blocks was fine. Then we laid them all out, and then we tried to put them together at a retreat.
Because there was a difference on the length of about 8 inches.
Then somebody volunteered to put it together for us, to take it away and work on it and do that. And I think a year and a half later, it all came back.
Did look amazing.
It did. It is amazing. I think if you pull it out now and there's enough time gone past, all of us will see how amazing it is, because
what I also
when
did
you're working with it.
No, what I also did with that is when I quilted it in 9 different colors, so that the colors, because it was the Duke of Edinburgh, was very much into his nautical and naval career. We did it as the crest of a wave, so the different colors of blues going up to golds, down to whites, and then into greens and to blues again. It was really well done. It was just a lot of work, and
it was.
Yes, I think we've all agreed there are no more collaborative quilts amongst us.
Well, we haven't done any since then. Maybe we should start do one.
I'm going to go with no. I've got a collaborative effort going here right now. I'm full up for the minute. Thank you.
No, we'll stick with this collaborative effort. Each one is individual, and that's where it stops.
Who inspires you in the quilting world?
Are you talking fabric-wise, or are you talking pattern-wise?
Your call. Why don't you do both?
So pattern-wise, I think that can be anybody. It just will depend on the pattern. If it involves a rainbow, I'm suckered generally. Same as fabric. If it has a rainbow, that's it. And then the designers would be Tula, of course. She has to be up there. Followed by Alison Glass, Lips, Juicy,
Do you know what I love? Is the way Gillian's like, Alison, Libs, Juicy, Tula, all first name basis. Doesn't need a
Of
surname.
course. Well, I am surrounded by them in this room all day, every day. So
Do
why am I
not
not?
do not open a cupboard.
No, you can't open them. No. Um, I think that's about it. But there can be other ones. It's all about the colors for me. It's the
I think
colors.
as well, as a quilter, you grow and you evolve. And there have been different designs, like EPP designs that have popped up as a one-off that I've never seen before that are
Yeah.
extraordinary. And I buy it and look at it and think, I'm never going to make that. But God, look how beautiful it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have some of those.
Yep.
From yours truly, of course.
Don't know what she's talking about. She's never been in my shop before, Your Honor.
Oh no, never. Yeah.
What do you wish somebody had told you when you started quilting?
How much it would take over my life?
You don't regret that.
No, I don't. I don't. Um, I don't even think how much money you could spend on it is a regret either. But not even time, because the thing is you've just got to literally carve the amount of time to do it, because most of us have got full-time day jobs, and then you come home half the time you're knackered, and almost in the last week I've most probably come to the realization I think my switching and relaxing is going to involve sewing, so that I can at least get in an hour somewhere in the day.
It's a good topic for a podcast. Thank you. So what made you decide to take part in the Voices in Cloth project?
I didn't really want to do it in the first place, actually.
Okay.
I think the miniature intimidated me. So I most probably took a couple of months to think about that first, and then find a pattern that I liked that would say what I wanted it to say. And then I suppose it also helps that there's you saying, are you doing it? My sister saying, oh, have you done it? So yes, I've now made a miniature quilt that I'm quite chuffed with. So
And
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, I can't do it with all of them, but I can do it with some of them. This is Gillian's quilt that you called Find the Rainbow. I think you can all agree she's done a wonderful job with that. And the colors, I think we all get a little bit of insight into Gillian's brain when you see all those beautiful colors.
That's quite scary.
It is
So,
very
yeah.
special, and I understand people's apprehension about it because miniature quilts is not something that we do as a normal. It's a
No,
very out the box what thing of doing, and you don't regret doing it.
no, I don't. The thing is I was thinking about it this morning, and actually that quilt is only, the front is only made with 2 pieces of material.
Really? And I will put this back to the screen and you can tell me what you're talking about.
So the outside batik, that one here is 1 piece, and all the rest is from another piece of fabric.
Wow, was it a rainbow piece, obviously?
It was a rainbow, it was a rainbow batik.
That's very, very clever. Will you ever make another?
I could be persuaded, yes.
I'm not suggesting for this project, I meant for yourself.
No, I'm sure you'll dream up something else for us.
So tell me a little bit more about your piece. Obviously, you were reluctantly bullied into making it.
I think, well, obviously I wanted to do the rainbow. And the significance of that was no matter where you are in the world, so we as born South Africans come from an amazing country. You can't deny that. That is a fact, okay? But for whatever reason, we chose to leave and go wherever in the world. You may not find the beauty of nature in the country where you're going, but you have to find the beauty of something in order to keep your life on a positive.
What's
But you
been
can't say, I've left this wonderful country with its beautiful sunsets and its wide open spaces and its sunshine to live in a dark and dingy bedsit in the back end of London, for argument's sake. You can't say that. You have to find some positive, whether it's, I don't know, you can see Buckingham Palace out of your window, or the ducks in Hyde Park, or something. So here where we are, and you as well, we've got so many lovely lakes and fields where we are. And in April, May, you can go and see all the little baby lambs, or the goslings,
bluebells.
or exactly.
What's been your happiness?
Moving.
No, what's the happiness that you found here to make it worthwhile?
It will be that my family is within a 20-mile radius of me. And the cliche of feeling safe, which is
it's a real feeling, and it's a real thing.
It is a real thing. And the thing is I don't like actually saying it, because everybody's sense of security is different. But for me, being single in South Africa, it wasn't fun anymore. So yeah, that's one of my pluses. And you can go to a concert and come home in the middle of the night and nobody worries.
No, that is a reality, it is.
Yep.
That still doesn't make you miss it less.
No, it doesn't, but I mentally closed the door of South Africa being home when I climbed on the airplane. So I made a conscious switch and said, right, this is the end of so much sunshine.
I think it's different for you because you were able to come and bring your whole family with you.
Oh, no, I get that, 100%.
It's very different. For me, I not having a family relationship on any level, it's a very different conversation. So when people say to you, would you ever move back to South Africa? It's a very different conversation for me, because I don't know. I just genuinely don't know. And however good or bad South Africa problems are, England has just as many problems, if not more. And they're different problems. You know, it's not, you've got a lot of things that are covered and a lot of things that aren't anywhere near as big a problem, like crime and electricity and the basic of, you know, support if you lose your job, and you've got medical health care and things like that. These are just fundamentals in this country that are granted to everybody.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You come from a place of immense privilege living here. Even if you are on benefit and not working, you've got immense privilege.
Oh, no, I get that.
South Africa.
I get that.
But that South African sunset, and you hear those crickets, and you hear the birds.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's somebody fires up a barbecue. Oh, sorry, somebody fires up a braai. I've been here too long, but it's a barbecue. You go to the shopping center and you've got smiling people who talk to you, and it's a very different world.
It is.
It's a very different thing. And I've been here 23 years, and there's not been a single day I've not missed South Africa. Not a single day. And I understand why people say there aren't, because you can't live in the past. And the South Africa I had and lived in doesn't exist anymore. The people that most of the people I was really close with have passed away. You know, and they're people
moved away.
And it's the life isn't the same anymore. And it doesn't matter how often you go back, it's not the same.
No.
And it's that you've got that, you can't have that expat mentality where you're thinking, oh, when we, you can't do that. It doesn't exist.
Find the rainbow.
And it's just interesting because as you were saying that, I thought to myself, gosh, what was my rainbow? How have I? It's just an interesting conversation, and I think it's something that we don't actually talk about very often.
Well, you, Mr. John Cole Morgan, could just sit there and look out over that fantastic garden you have.
I know. No, no, look, don't get me wrong. I've found happiness. I'm very, very lucky in my life. Is it lucky enough for me to never dream of going back and living in South Africa? Absolutely not. It's quite scary for me that I'm coming up to, I lived in Africa for almost 24 years, and I'm coming up to the anniversary of where I've now officially lived in the UK longer than I ever lived in South Africa. And that for me is a big thing because I'm South African. I will always be South African. But when you've lived in England for longer than you've lived in South Africa, are you still a South African? Aren't you British then? And I think that until somebody's actually emigrated and felt that pull, it's a very different conversation.
No, it is. And I always laugh because people say to me, "Oh, you're South African. You're an intruder and all of that." But my dad was from Scottish heritage. Okay, so he was Scottish. Mom and dad were Scottish, so he's Scottish. Okay, yes, he was brought up in South Africa. Mom was born in Holland. Her parents were Dutch, so she's Dutch. Okay, I was born in South Africa from European parents.
No, I
So
get that.
the only thing
When you do my DNA, I'm, what was it, 53% Welsh, 2% Ashkenazi Jew, yes, and the rest of it I was from Cornwall. So I was hoping so much for an exciting strain that would have annoyed my racist parents, but alas, there isn't anything.
okay.
But I've come from English heritage as well, but I will always feel 100% South African.
No.
I just will, because it's the only time. I don't know how to. I love the UK. I love living here. I really do, and it's given me a lot. I've had a lot of benefit from living here, but I've never felt welcome. I've never felt like I belong. I never felt like in the quilting world as well, and I don't want to start a debate on something, but as a gay white male quilter with a bit of money, I've never been accepted into this community by any stretch of imagination, and actively disliked, I think is the term for it. And I'm okay with that because I'm just one of those Marmite people. You love me or you hate me.
Yeah, but the thing is even though there are people that don't like you, there are people you still have quite a good strong following.
Oh yeah, it's not for me. It's not that, but it's for me. I just think that it's you yourself know the UK is a hard place to move to.
Oh no, I get it.
It's very hard, and you're not welcome. There is I don't care what color you are. If you're a foreigner and you're coming here, you're stealing people's jobs and you're treated really poorly. And as a white gay man, I felt that. Can you imagine if you were of a person of color, how horrific it is for them? So a minuscule, tiny little piece that I feel that, you can imagine what it's like for other people. And you've just got to look at the whole Brexit conversation and how the vile, disgusting racism that came out of there. It's not a nice place at times. I still live here. I still love it. I still am not going anywhere because I have a life here. But I'm 46 years old, about to turn 47. I wouldn't emigrate anyway. I'm done with packing suitcases. I'm done. I'm never moving house.
Yeah, I'm not changing countries again. Not on the cards.
Well, you yourself have seen how much stuff I've got. I can't move.
No. Though I could relieve you of some of those containers up in the lot.
Yes, the Tula Pink stash, I know.
Oh yeah, those ones, yeah.
Yep. But I think it's incredible that I find myself often thinking about what would I do if I did go back to South Africa? What would it be like? Because I don't know if I could make it in South Africa anymore, because you look at the South Africans that are living there, and I'm speaking purely as an outsider going in, and you look at what people struggle through every day.
It's hard.
And every single one of those people is happy. In their own way, they're happy. They have a moan. they have a wine, but they still do it, and they're still plodding along. And
I
I don't
don't
know,
think they're all happy. I
I
know
look
some
at the
that are
people.
unhappy but
Oh,
can't
no,
move.
but we know unhappy people in every walk of life, in every
Exactly.
situation. But when you look at people who are the poorest of the poor and they're working their socks off for hours and hours on end, barely having enough money to feed their families, everyone's smiling. They make it work.
Hmm.
And that
Lesson in there for
welcomeness.
us.
Hmm?
Lesson in there for us.
Well, that's kind of where I'm leading to. It's I just don't know. I've become soft. I've become soft living here, and everything's provided for you. You don't really need to fight or anything. You just have a moan or write a letter or an email. Somebody sorts it all out for you. And I think that that is the part I don't know whether it's a diaspora I'd want to take back. But then the other side of it is I look at this project and I look at the way I have an idea which is based on a very Western philosophy, but rooted, sorry, very European philosophy, but rooted in South African culture with oral history, doing the story word of mouth. That's such an African thing to do.
Oh
But then
yeah.
you're merging it with a miniature quilt size, which is for the restrictions of the Birmingham Festival of Quilts. The requirements are all measured up to that. And you just can't help but wonder, is that type of the synergy that we should be doing? And we look
Yeah.
at South African quilters and you look at how, the tulip pink fabric that was just released this week, raw. Okay, we record these a few in advance. Raw was released this week. Was it the week before? And you've already got your raw. You've already got sorry, your mother might be watching this. Gillian's never bought any tulip pink,
Oh no, she accepted it when it arrived.
but you've got that fabric and it was released a few days ago, and that won't be released in South Africa for 9 months to a year. And I think that it's just you look at how people make the most incredible quilts and truly beautiful, beautiful,
Mm.
beautiful quilts without the resources that we take for granted.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We moan when Missouri Star Quilt Company haven't got the fabric online when they're supposed to, and it's a day late. We whine and moan and complain about it. And I think I don't know, it's a synergy that, I don't know,
The whole different world here.
it really is.
And we can pay extra postage. We moan through our teeth because we have to pay, I don't know, $25 or whatever the hell it, $40 for the stuff to come from Missouri Star, but we still do it.
We do.
You just factor it into what you're buying.
And for me, I just look at South Africa every single time I go back, and it's the most incredible place in the entire world, and I just wish more people could see it.
No, I get that. I don't dispute that it's an amazing country and there's just a vibrancy in the
Can't find
nature
it,
piece.
but you can't find it anywhere else.
No.
And it's extraordinary. And I think this project for me, I kind of want to say it's one of the highlights of my life to be able to be trusted by so many people to tell the story of South African quilting in a tiny part when I don't even live there. And I'm so honored to be able to have my South African heritage, to be able to speak the language and feel the passion that
Oh,
people
yeah.
are talking about and be able to do it. It's a special thing.
Mm, it is.
It's just embarrassing I've still not made a quilt for it yet.
Who you?
No, I haven't had time. I better get a wiggle on.
You best get a wiggle on because that will actually be very sad.
No,
And
I've
it's
already
not
got it.
like you have no fabric or
I've
no
got it already
ideas.
designed. It's just finding the
Yeah.
time to do it. What do you think's different about South African quilters compared to British quilters?
The resourcefulness that they have, because they won't have access to all the fancy goodies that we've got. So where you would walk around the quilt show showing us the quilts and you'd say, oh no, and this one's got beads on and that one's got that on. We wouldn't think of doing that because we've got all these fancy fabrics, but they obviously using their resourcefulness to jazz it up with whatever means they can, or like Deerwald, who did the hand dyeing fabric like that. So they're taking what they have to make something extraordinary for the fabric in order to do the quilt.
Which is better? And you see, for me, I've asked that question of myself, listening to a few people I've interviewed, and all I can think is, I really want to try doing it their way for a while. Because it's so special and it's so true and it's so authentic.
It is. We can do it. I've had a thing in my head forever. We went fishing, I think, in Mpumalanga or something, and we found some placemats, and all they were was navy blue linen with wadding in the middle now, and it had, I think, concentric circles on it, sewn with the little African seed beads. That's all it was. And to me, they are the most amazing placemats ever.
But it comes with a memory.
It does.
And it comes with a memory of your family and your dad, and it's so special.
Yeah.
Many other people in this project, after hearing the decision of the South African Quilters Guild, Gillian has decided to make us 2 extra miniature quilts. Unfortunately, recording of each story is not available, but look how stunning these pieces are.
So what's next for you on your quilting journey, ma'am?
I think I still have the Alison Glass carousel quilt to finish. That quilt along finished, I think, last year, I think. And then I'm gathering fabrics for a Quiltworks pattern.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
So that's going to be FPP on steroids, I think.
Love it.
And then,
Well,
of course, there's some Tula ones in there somewhere.
just for good measure.
Yeah, there's a couple of kits that are stashed away here in a corner somewhere.
Is there anything you'd like to say that we have skipped out on or not said?
No, I think the main thing is when you're quilting, do what makes you happy and don't care what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter if your points don't match. As long as you're having fun and you're getting whatever you need to get out of it, who cares?
Thank you. Well, on that note, Gillian, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
It's lovely to have you.
Thank you.
And all of you, I hope you've enjoyed this installment. We will be back again really soon. Bye-bye.
My name is Gillian. I live in Leighton Buzzard in the UK. My quilt is called Find the Rainbow. And the significance of that was no matter where you are in the world, so we as born South Africans come from an amazing country. You can't deny that. That is a fact, okay? But for whatever reason, we chose to leave and go wherever in the world. You may not find the beauty of nature in the country where you're going, but you have to find the beauty of something in order to keep your life on a positive. You need to find something that gives you the joy or close to that joy that you found in South Africa. So it will be like taking a bit of Africa to wherever you are in the world.